All right, let's talk about a word you probably use all the time without even thinking about it. Motion. Seems pretty simple, right? A kid's word, almost. But what if I told you that tucked away inside its online dictionary entry, there's a tiny clue that leads to this huge, fascinating idea about language itself? Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, we're looking at our source, the Simple English Wiktionary. And as a noun, motion is, well, it's a movement. Super straightforward. She made a motion or the train was set in motion. We all get that. It's one of those basic words. But you and I know we're not here for the obvious stuff. And that's really the big question for today, isn't it? Why are we dedicating this whole explainer to such a simple word? I mean, what could possibly be special about this one dictionary entry? Well, the secret is hiding in plain sight, and honestly, it's this brilliant little breadcrumb of intellectual history. Now, to find this secret, we don't need to dig through ancient text or anything. No, the clue is right there on the source page. You just have to know where to look. It's just one little sentence, easy to scroll right past, but it changes everything. And there it is. That's our clue. Motion is on the Basic English 850 list. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a piece of random trivia, right? But trust me, that one line is a doorway. It opens up a whole new way of thinking about the English language, and it all comes down to that number. 850. So what is that? What does that number even mean? Is it, the 850 most popular words? Nope, not quite. A list for some super advanced spelling bee? Not even close. This number, 850, it represents this really radical idea to boil the entire English language down to its absolute bare essentials. Which, of course, leads us right to the big reveal. This is the question our whole treasure hunt has been leading to. What in the world is the Basic English 850 list? And why is our humble little word motion a part of it? So, that little clue on the Wiktionary page, it leads us to this amazing concept called Basic English. And it's not just a list of words. Oh no, it's a complete constructed language system thought up back in the 1930s with a goal so ambitious it's kind of breathtaking. Basic English was cooked up by a linguist, a guy named C.K. Ogden. And his big idea was to create a version of English that was so simple, so streamlined, that basically anyone on Earth could learn it, and learn it fast. He actually believed that with just 850 core words, you could still say almost anything you needed to say. And you gotta understand, this wasn't just some academic thought experiment. It had real-world goals. I mean, just imagine it. A single shared language for global business, for science, for diplomacy, that you could pick up in just a few months instead of years and years. That was the dream of Basic English. Okay, but how? How on earth can you say everything you need to say with only 850 words? The English language has like over 1 million words. Well, the secret isn't just which words are on the list. It's all about how you use them. Let's take a look. This right here, this is the whole idea in a nutshell. Basic English gets rid of all the fancy, complicated words like gesticulated, and instead gives you these simple, reusable building blocks. So you don't need 1,000 different verbs. You just learn to combine a few simple words like made and our star player motion to get the exact same idea across. It's brilliant. So the core principle here is all about getting the most bang for your buck. Basic English works by picking words that are just incredibly flexible, words that are kind of like linguistic Swiss Army knives. And that, you guessed it, brings us right back to our word, motion. See, motion isn't just on that list as a noun for a movement. It's also on the list as a verb. So you don't need other words like beckon or signal or gesture. You can just say, he motioned for me to come here. It's one word doing the job of 3 or 4 others. It's just incredibly efficient. And check out this table, which also comes from our Wiktionary source. The verb forms are totally regular. They're simple. Motion, motions, motioned, motioning. No crazy, irregular verbs to memorize. That was another huge part of the design, just stripping away all the tricky, annoying parts of English grammar to make it as easy as possible to learn. Now, okay, full disclosure, Basic English never really became the one global language that C.K. Ogden dreamed of. But, and this is the important part, its central idea, the power of making things simple so that everyone can understand, that idea is more relevant today than it has ever been. I mean, think about it. The spirit of Basic English is literally everywhere. When companies write emails to their international teams, what do? They use simple, clear language. Governments now have laws demanding that they write documents in plain language so citizens can actually understand them. Even the way we design instruction manuals or teach AI like Alexa to understand us, it all relies on a core, simplified set of words. And so we've come full circle. We started this whole journey with one of the simplest words you can think of, motion. And by following just that one tiny clue, we uncovered this massive, ambitious project to completely redesign the English language. It just goes to show you, sometimes the most ordinary things hold the most extraordinary stories. So it leaves us with this final thing to chew on. We love how rich our language is, right? The poetry, the nuance of having a million words to choose from. But in our world, which is more connected and more complicated than ever, maybe there's a growing need for that kind of radical simplicity. It makes you wonder, what do we gain and what could we lose in that search for a simpler way to talk to each other?